Node 564560 connected to Node 564562.
And 8 p.m. it is. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net, a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that transmit video via digital amateur television in the DVB-T format. We transmit on 70 centimeters to a crossband repeater on Cougar Mountain, and it spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about our group, please Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our homepage on the internet. There you'll find out the exact frequencies we transmit and receive on. And also you'll find a link that will take you to YouTube, where we stream our nets held Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9 o'clock. Also, we transmit, simulcast our audio for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society to our sister WW7 ATS repeater 147.08 with a tone of 103.5. So with that, I'll pause in case anybody has an emergency or needs to make a contact before the net gets fully underway. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Welcome back to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Signed in so far by video link is Ron, KD7QKU. Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles. Bob, K9PQ, Oak Harbor. Richard, K7ITX in Kent. Jim, N7QO in Covington. James, WU7N, Northeast Bellevue. And myself, Dave, KD7ZYM. I'll pause in case anybody else wishes to check in. Hearing none, let's pick up Ron, KD7QKU in Tacoma.
Hey, thank you very much, Dave. Good evening to everyone. KD7QKU here. Well, I guess I'll start off. I had a little bit of excitement this afternoon. We had kind of a busy day. So on the way home, I stopped at Safeway's to get some gas. The car had about a quarter of a tank in it, and gas prices have been going up and up. And Joanne had a little discount, so I'm putting gas in the car, and I put the pump, on automatic, that you set the little thing, and then you can let loose of it, and it just, fills it up. And then it'll click off when it's full. Well, I was standing there daydreaming, and I was thinking it must be getting pretty close to full when the lady on the other side of the pump started yelling at me. And all of a sudden, my foot was wet, and I looked at the car, and the gas was gushing out of it. The pump didn't shut off, so I grabbed the handle and shut the pump off and then hung it up. And so there was about, 4-foot or 6-foot diameter place where there was gas on the ground. And she said, I'll run in and tell them that there was an accident. And I said, okay. She was a younger lady, so she ran into the office and told them. And so I got some paper towels, and inside the gas filler cap, it had accumulated, and then it drained out, and I wiped it out, and no one come running out of the office, so I just closed it and got in the car and drove home. But it got on my pant leg, and it got on my shoe, and I let the car sit outside for a while because it smelled like gas. And then I had to put my shoe in the sunshine on the front step and hung my pants out there. Had to change my pants. And my shoe still kind of stinks, but I guess eventually it'll go away. Just got my left foot because my left foot was, nearest the car. And it didn't get it really, really bad. I changed my socks and put on some different shoes. So that was my exciting moment for today. So back to net, KD7 QKU.
KD7 QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Port Angeles to Lee N7KC.
Okay, well, my call was up, and I assume video. There we go. Well, this is Lee and 7KC in Port Angeles. I'm over on the west side, north of the airport, and just south of the bluffs. Beautiful, beautiful weather we've had over here the last few days. It's certainly an early spring. We've concluded our snow or our rainfall for February, and we made 66% of our 10-year long-term average for the month of February. So January was about 50%, and this one was about two-thirds, about 66%. So we're definitely working, starting out the year here with less rainfall than we'd like to have. Right now, I mean, we're getting some, so the trees aren't suffering at the moment. But a little later on this summer, it's awful hard on the trees. Um, yeah, okay. So the back pressure valve on the nozzle on the system failed to operate properly. Um, I had a little incident myself like that once, um, but I was standing right there by it. I set the on the first step. I don't go on the second step with the valve. I just put it on the first one, and it failed to operate well. So there was a little got down on the concrete under the car. And so I went in, it was Safeway here in town. And I went in and I told the gal there, and she said, not a problem. Happens pretty often. So they had a spray tank. Looked like you were going to put insecticide on something. But anyway, it was a special stuff that they go out and they just spray on that spot. They coat it all down, and it renders it useless, if you please. Anyway, we've had just lovely weather. Yesterday the sunroom was 90 degrees, and today it was 85. And the blue skies. It's just lovely. So unless something really weird happens, it looks like we're in a very early spring here, and people aren't complaining, except they know full well that it's going to be a little testy this summer if this keeps up with the water supply. So I don't have a lot to offer tonight. I wanted to get on for a few minutes anyway and make sure everything's working. So with that, Dave, I will conclude here. This is N7KC, Lee in Port Angeles, and we'll send it back to you.
N7KC, thanks for that. Let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Oak Harbor.
Okay. Well, good evening, everybody. And yeah, that's kind of scary, Ron. You think about how dangerous gasoline can be, and yet I was just thinking, at a lot of the gas stations, it's just some kid, high school kid or somebody working there, and they they're like, I don't want to deal with that. So I'm not too surprised no one came running out to handle the spilled gas, but it's a little disturbing. As for the rainfall, Lee, you know, I that is bad that it's 66%, but it's not even March yet, and March can be very wet, so we'll just wait and see. But I haven't seen any of the long term predictions like from the National Weather Service or anything. Looking 2 or 3 months out, but uh, hopefully we'll get some more rain here in March. But what I'm hoping for tonight, as you can see behind me, I've got my, let's see, get my thumb in the picture here. I've got my camera that's uh, mounted with trying to think of the right term, and I can't think of it, orbital mount, I think it's called, to counteract the rotation of the Earth. And so I'll be able to take long exposure pictures of stars and of the moon, and it even has a sun setting. I doubt I'm going to be trying to take pictures of the sun. I may look into if there's a safe way to do that, but I'm not looking to do that. But it is a full moon, very close to a full moon tonight. So I have a feeling I'm probably going to be mostly taking pictures of the moon. The stars will be dimmed somewhat, relatively speaking, because of the moon. It's going to wash over a lot of things, but I'll see what I can do. I'm going to try and get maybe some planets. See what I can do. Um, okay. You know what? It just occurred to me: the planets, they must be moving slow enough. Yeah, I'm sure they're moving slow enough that the normal. I don't have to worry about them uh, blurring. It's just the rotation of the Earth. So hopefully on Wednesday I'll have some pictures to show. Okay, I'll send it back. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's see if Richard's with us. K7ITX in Kent. And no response from Richard, K7ITX. Let's see if Jim's with us. N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, let's see. The repeater. I'm receiving the television repeater intermittently again tonight. Not quite as bad as it was during the last net. Kind of surprising. Almost the entire month of February, it worked flawlessly. When it is running, I am getting audio from everyone over the television repeater.
Node
But
6, 7,
but when it
0,
freezes, I just
6,
get
1,
still picture for
disconnected.
several seconds, and sometimes I get a couple seconds of motion, and then it repeats itself. Let's see, Ron, fuel pump, yeah. Well, it doesn't surprise me that no one came out to help you. At the fuel pumps there, I'll go around and windows and maybe the headlights as well. But usually by the time I'm finished with that, it's still fueling. So I'm by the thing, kind of watching it, waiting for it to quit. And if it doesn't, then I'm close enough I can hear the splashing. So, yeah, I think it was one time probably that I got my foot. Not nearly like you did, Ron. Sorry about that. That's. I hope your shoe is okay out of that. I don't know if the weather would drink that up, but good luck with that. Lee, 66% of the February precipitation. Well, I guess it's better than 50%. I don't know. I thought Squim was supposed to be the dry spot up in that area, but yeah, it's definitely been pretty dry where you are. I can't help but think of how much of the country is getting drenched in one way or another, either snow or rain. Bob, cool telescope. I'm not sure. I think they call that an equatorial mount. Lee or Ron would probably know for sure. And yeah, a very bright moon here where I am as well. Nice clear sky. Beautiful night out there. Probably a beautiful night for stargazing, although it's a little chilly. I've got 43 degrees here at my house. Back to you, Dave, and 7QO.
N7QO, thanks for that. I'm not sure if James is with us tonight or not. WU7N.
Yeah, Dave, this is James, WU7N, and I'm synchronizing right now.
One, two, three, four, WU7N.
1, 2, 3, 4, WU7N.
Okay, looks like we're on the air. Well, Ron, I'm just glad no injuries or fire broke out. People just really do underestimate the energy in gasoline. That's why it works so well, I guess, for cars and things. But if your only casualties was a pair of shoes and a pair of pants, maybe you can wash those out. So Lee, 2/3 of the usual average snowpack. Well, if it's an average, that doesn't sound as good as I thought it first was. But I guess 2/3 of average is better than none. I'm sure you would have rather had more. I hope we have plenty there for the Cedar River watershed that I drink out of my tap. And then see. Oh, Bob, very cool mount that you have there. I look forward to seeing the products of it. It looks like a fantastic piece of engineering. And I don't know if Richard is listening or not, but thank you very much for the car video and some of the pictures. And let me see if I can get something here. Let me flip the camera and see if we can get this. Okay, so here's today's mystery. Right here it says these are chocolate, coconut, peanut butter protein balls. But nowhere on here does it say whether they come from pigs or chickens or cows or whatever. So that's something to think about, huh? But, oops, I think my microphone was off there for a moment. Dave, did I stop transmitting? I guess not. I guess we're still on the air. Okay, so anyway, that sounds like my cue to stop for next time. This is WU7N. And
WU7N, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. Do a quick ID here. The 08 machine is ID. Western Washington Amateur Television Society. WW7 ATS. Well, here in Lake City today, I kind of got wound up watching TV and seeing what's going on in the news, and boy, I tell you, I kind of got addicted to that. It was, some interesting things going on internationally. Held my attention with that, so I ended up going through and finding about another apple box worth of stuff to box up to take to Goodwill. So anyway, the disgusting TV was on, so that was it. Well, the only thing I see, everything seems to be working well tonight with the television coming across, the digital's working well, and it's also transporting the audio over to the 2-meter repeater. The only problem I have that's going on tonight that I see is on the digital television screen. It's identifying the 08 machine, unfortunately, as WW7STR as opposed to WW7ATS. So I don't know. That's something I guess we'll need to fix in the future, but that's what's happening there. So anyway, temperature-wise, 41 degrees and cloudy out. I guess I won't be looking for the moon tonight here in Lake City, but we'll be looking forward to Bob's mooning report, as we might say. So I'm going to send it back up to the top of the list to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, well, thanks again, Dave. KD7QKU here. Well, I have 42 degrees. I'm usually pretty close to Jim, but he's about 10 degrees colder than I am. So, I had the nozzle on the wide open on the second or whatever the last click is, I guess. So, Bob, I have a couple of things that you might want apps on your phone, and I think Lee will agree to this. So, I have one about the moon, and it said the moon rose today at 2:44 p.m. and it sets tonight at 5:45 a.m. So the moon is out there right now, I think, in the southeast sky, and it's almost full. But then there's another one that I don't know if you know about it, but it's called Stellarium. And Lee had it, and he recommended it to me, and it's a really good one. So it's spelled STELLARIUM, and I would suggest you download it, and it tells you an awful lot and shows you an awful lot. So Carlos just showed up. Good evening, Carlos. We had kind of an interesting day, I guess you could say. Oh, well, last night, just when we were going to bed, about 10:30, it was, like Dave said, there was we were watching the news, and an alert came on and said that Israel and the United States had just attacked Iran, and so they didn't have much to say, so I was anxious when I got up this morning to listen to the net up north. They start talking at 6:45, and I usually get up about 6:30, so I turned the television on and kind of got caught up to what was going on over there. And then today down at LeMay's, they were having another cars and coffee thing, and that's where it's just like hot rods and stuff. Yeah, but also at the same time, they were having an, I don't know, Southeast Asian or something thing going on down there, and it was free, and I figured it'd be a lot of people, and so I didn't want to take the Corvette down. I just wanted to drive by and see how many cars are there. So we drove by. Traffic wasn't too bad. There were not very many cars there. I was glad I didn't bother to take the Corvette down. And then I had called Joanne's sister and said that we were going to be in the vicinity and we would like to stop by. We hadn't seen Doug for a week, and so he had, knee replacement. And so we just kind of drove slow and looked. And, of course, we had to stop and let a few people walk across the road and stuff. And then we taken the back road, which I think is called McKinley. And it comes out on 38th, and then you go over to Pacific and go down Pacific to get to their house. So anyway, that's what we did in the morning. So, and then of course Phyllis fixed us lunch because we got there about lunchtime. So we had a nice visit with them, and we did turn Fox News on for a minute and see what was going on, and then we switched over to a baseball game, and Doug and I kind of watched the baseball game and visited while the girls, I don't know, they talked about something. So that's about it. Back to net, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7ZYM, and this is simulcast WW7 ATS audio coming across from our nets for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. And coming up next is Lee N7KC in Port Angeles.
And we'll try again for Lee N7KC in Port Angeles.
Okay, this is Lee again in 7KC in Port Angeles. Well, there was a big interruption in the downlink to me. Now, it did not occur with Discord. I have Discord going at the same time. The performance of Discord was just fine, and the stream disappeared. And I have oodles of incoming bandwidth. We're about 300 300 megabits per second here, so pretty fast. Bob, I was wondering if you would. I sent you a text or a chat rather, and I was wondering if you had mentioned who made your camera mount and so forth. Also, I see Carlos is in there. I'm interested in hearing from him. Today, this afternoon, I had some time, so I got the last of the software loaded in my Raspberry Pi 5, and it just runs like $1,000,000. Boy, it's a nice little machine. Real pleased with that. And I was able to. I have a couple of the Mesh Core high-tech V3s, and I saw one of them is incredibly sensitive, much better than the other one. I have two, and I noticed Wade's call W7ITL was showed up there, so I just sent him a little text, and he came right back to me. Anyway, I have let it run just wide open here, no filtering, and I've bagged about almost 400 contacts, ranging from nearly Squamish up in BC, clear down to just north of Portland, and so it's quite impressive. Anyway, so in a way, I'm a neophyte. I don't know much about it, but I got a book on MeshCore, which was good enough to here we go. Anyway, it was good enough to get me going, and maybe me and Chat GPT will get it figured out. Anyway, I don't have anything else except I've seen intermittent breaks in the downlink stream to me, and everything else that's streaming is just fine. So I conclude it's probably not here. Anyway, back to you, Dave. This is Lee in Port Angeles, N7KC. Go ahead.
N7KC, thanks with that. Now we can go to Oak Harbor. Bob, K9PQ.
I assume you can hear me, even though I don't see anything on the streaming output just at the moment. It's always delayed. There we go. It's coming up. Um, yeah, Lee, I also just had trouble with the streaming output. I was going to report, oh, I haven't seen any problems tonight, and then it was on your transmission that you just made that I it froze up on me, and I had to actually reload the page in order to get it to work. So I did, and I caught the beginning and the end of your transmission. So I did get you asking me what I'm using. It is iOptron, spelled IOPTRON, Sky Tracker Pro, and it's a pretty basic equatorial mount. It doesn't do the sort of automatic finding things that a lot of the fancier things do, but it gets the job done of doing the equatorial. And thanks for that. Whoever said equatorial, I think that sounds right. And it manages that. Well, we'll see. I was about to say it manages that fine. We're going to find out. um, the one thing it does have, as I mentioned, it has the normal mode for tracking the stars. It has moon mode, sun mode, and then it has half speed. If you want to sort of split the difference between the stars and the ground, the horizon. So if you want to get a horizon shot, so that it's, as I say, it splits the difference. So they're both going to be not completely tack sharp in focus, but they'll be both closer than one of them would have been farther out if you chose to do it just with the normal speed or with no speed at all. So I might even try that. We'll see. I'm going to put it through its paces. What else do I have? Yeah, protein balls. Good one, James. I just, as a serious answer, my guess would be whey. I think that's what they use in a lot of those protein shakes and bars and stuff like that. That's what protein they use. Let's see what else do I have here? Oh yeah, thank you, Ron, on the apps. I do have the Stellarium app. Some years ago, I got interested in just seeing, if it could just identify things that I could look at just with the naked eye, or with I think I had you know, some good binoculars or a small telescope or something. So it did help me to locate things, and I'll be certainly using that to locate things. There's another one I like called Heavens Above, and I think they're both quite good. But I will definitely go back and look at Stellarium again. And that's nice on the cars and coffee. That sounds like fun to get together with folks and bring your cars out there. Oh, the other thing, Lee, at the end of your transmission on the mesh core, a friend of mine has been doing that, and I have not tried that, and it's not top on my list. Top on my list is just getting my station back up again after the move. Mesh core is down the line. I think what I'm interested in is FT8, and he's done quite well with FT8 and a very simple loop. He's in an apartment with all he can put is a small loop outside in the back, and he's done quite well with it. So I am going to have similar kind of restrictions here. So we'll see how well that works for me. The news, Dave, I had no idea. I did not watch or listen to any news today, so that took me by surprise. I'm glad you told me about it, and I will certainly be reading up on it. All right, send it on back. This is K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks with that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, Jim, I agree with Bob. My best guess is those protein balls are filled with whey protein. I don't have any experience with that particular product. But that other thing which you showed, the Fit Crunch bars, I've been using those for a while. In fact, I had one for breakfast this morning. I can't say that I know for sure what's in those either, but I just assume that it's whey. I can say that you take a bite of that and they dissolve into liquid in your mouth. Hardly any chewing required. They have two different flavors of the bar. The advertisement there showed a yellow package. There's also some in a green package. I have not tried the ones in the green package. I think the ones in the yellow package taste good to me. I have no problem tolerating them. But I will say that I prefer them refrigerated. I'm not exactly sure why, but somehow the chocolate doesn't taste. There's a chocolate coating on the outside. It's pretty thin, but maybe that's why I don't like it. It can melt easily, I think. And let's see. Yeah, Ron, thanks for mentioning that app. I do seem to remember hearing something about that before. And Bob, the app that you use, that sounds good. Lee, book on Mesh Core. Thank you for holding that up for us to see. It has a title that we can easily remember, Mesh Core. That's pretty good. Let's see, what else? Oh, Hamfest coming up March 7th. I got an email from a friend today wanting to know if I'd go with him to that. I don't know. I haven't quite decided yet. I have a whole bunch of things going on right now. Just today I got to start on my income tax. So it looks like it's going to be more complicated this year than it was even last year. So I don't know how much time this is going to take out of my life, but we'll see. Anyway, I put a dent in it today, and we'll see where it goes. That's all I can remember for now. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
N7QO, thanks with that. And get a quick ID here. Again, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. On the 08 machine, I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Coming up next is James.
Okay, Dave, this is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. And thank you You're quite an inspiration to me. Your taxes are done even before I have all my forms together, and every time we talk, you have another box going to Goodwill. I need to do that too. Keep up the good work. Let's see. Lee, you kind of left us hanging. You said you had two mesh core transceivers, and you said one was infinitely better and more sensitive than the other, but didn't tell us exactly which one it is. Maybe you could put that out to an IO groups so I could store that away when I get the budget. I have a tree in mind. I think I'd like to put one of those up with a little solar cell. Let's see. And Bob, I was not aware of that there was a way you could do a half and half between the Earth and the stars. That sounds interesting, actually. And if it was a short exposure, I guess you wouldn't notice. So look forward to seeing pictures from that. Yes, unfortunately, I was on the phone this morning with the Ayatollah. We were talking, and he said, wait a second, there's something going on outside. And I said, oh, what? And that's, suddenly the phone went dead. But, I'm not sure what happened there. I've got to get on the news later today and see. We talk a lot. We used to get together and have, golf and lunch. But anyway, let's see. Jim, I've got a solid endorsement for Fit Crunch. I'll have to see on the factory floor or the warehouse floor what they really sell those for on March the 2nd. Because I think I've had a sample of those once, and those were pretty darn tasty. You always have to be aware of the Costco combination, and that's where there'll be a box with 3 flavors, and one of the flavors is great, and one of the flavors is, it's okay, and then the third flavor is horrible. And they took such flack on the Kirkland brand protein bars. They were just so awful. They actually went back to the drawing board and redesigned them from scratch. So it is a very responsive company, but I remember they would always have like a great flavor, and then but you got to buy it too, and then you end up with the other flavor. Well, here's something I saw on the news. It's more uplifting than the Middle East. Let me see if I can get this. Okay, so it's been 40 years, and this is the outfit Cher wore to get even with the Academy Awards because they had snubbed her. This photo courtesy of the BBC, and they got it from Getty Images. But I thought that's funny because today if someone wore that to the Academy Awards, you wouldn't even notice, would you? But 40 years ago, of course I wasn't born yet. But so anyway, I thought everybody would get a kick out of that blast from the past. So what else is going on? I forgot to mention today my public service group that I support in the city of Bellevue, we did something different today. We got together for just a drill that was not a Fifth Saturday drill, so it was just our group. And that was very interesting. Got a lot accomplished. A lot of new people got oriented to equipment. We could really spend some time and pull some things out that hadn't been pulled out in a while and kind of work on them. And weren't under quite as much pressure to achieve operational objectives. So that was very good. And let's see, I think that's about it for this time around. So I will turn it back to you, Dave. This is James WU7N in Northeast.
WU7N, thanks with that. Let's see if we got Carlos, 87NP in Clyde Hill. '87NP Carlos in Clyde Hill. Apparently Carlos had to leave the net. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. As I said, everything's been going pretty good. I guess Ron's got to be really, really lucky with that gas spill. that it didn't create a spark. A lot of times with automobile fires, people use that automatic system, then sit in their car seat in the car, then get out and then try to undo the mess, and a spark comes out from that, from the static electricity from moving across the seat on the car and causes an ignition with the gasoline. Not a good thing to have happen. And Bob, boy, that mount looks beautiful. You have a little camera attachment that goes to that lens, or how does that work? Is that that's not using film? It's just using a sensor that goes to your computer, I take it. So anyway, I'll come back to you next time around. This is Dave, KD7ZYM in Lake City. So let's move up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, thank you very much, Dave. Good evening again, everyone. So, Lee, this is what I've done with my little mesh core radio. I put it on one of these big batteries that you can charge your cell phone on, and so it'll set and it'll run on this battery for a week or two. I have 3 of these batteries floating around the house, and every time the little green light comes on the thing, somebody's putting out a message. There's hundreds of people that have them. So if you talk to Wade, and I don't know if you have them, so he put us on so some of these channels are public, and then some of them are private, and he put us on a private channel. It's called WWATS, and so if we're on that channel, only the people that I guess in the group can see each other. So when I've corresponded with Wade, I've used that channel. So anyway, I'm not too sharp on this mesh core, but it's, like I say, I put it on that big battery. So then it'll run for a couple of weeks. And I don't use it. Wade is the only person I've talked to or sent a text message to. So in a way, I think it's kind of worthless. So when Mesh-tastic came out, it didn't go through repeaters or anything. It was independent. So anybody that had a cell phone, if the power and everything went out, you could still communicate. But I think this mesh core goes through repeaters and stuff, and so if we had a disaster, I don't know that the mesh core would necessarily work. It might. So you operate these radios with Bluetooth on your cell phone. You use your cell phone to type in the messages and everything. So let's see what else. I forgot what everybody talked about. So I guess I'll just pass it back. I did see Carlos, but he's not on now. I don't know what happened to him. He was there for a few minutes. So this is KD7QKU, back to net.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. And now let's go over to Bob, K9PQ.
Yeah, to answer your question, Dave, the camera and lens, there we go, the camera and lens right there. Those I already had. That's just a normal long zoom lens for my camera. So, and that's what this little box here is designed to do, is to work with a camera. I imagine you could use it with a telescope. I don't know what kind of mounts telescopes use, but this has the kind of mounts that match the the mounts you use with tripods with cameras. Um, and so that's what I'm doing. So really, I already had the tripod, already had the camera and lens, so it was just this little motor mount. It is in two pieces. Let's see if I can identify the two pieces. Um, this one down here, it is added on this box here. All this box here does is rotate this platform. This box allows you to get it at the right angle. So if you already have your own mount to do that, you don't need that extra piece. But I didn't have that, so this worked out well for me. And so it is really in two pieces that join together, and then you put so then this piece on top here with the red dot, that is the tripod head that normally goes directly onto the tripod, but is now fitted to the top of the rotating pad on top of the box there, and that's how it rotates the camera. But yeah, no telescope involved. It's just camera and zoom lens. Okay, I'll send it back. K9PQ.
K9PQ, thanks for that. Let's go to Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles.
There we go with a call. This is Lee, N7KC in Port Angeles once again. Okay, well, it looks nice, Bob. I looked them up real quick on the phone, and you can get into some pretty pricey stuff with them. My telescope has an equatorial mount on it, and the very, very big deal is getting it lined up with Polaris. And when you're 84, pushing 85 real close, trying to get down on the ground and use the sighting equipment to get that thing is really quite a contest. The last time I had it out, probably took me 20 minutes to get it zeroed in on Polaris. And so I start to get out from underneath the rig and I bump a leg. And I had to do it all over again. And boy, I tell you, I haven't done it since. It's really, really hard to do. Somebody I thought did make a right angle fitting that would go up in there so you could be sort of outside the thing to do it, but I never bought it. Now, James, I have two identical mesh core transceivers, the high-tech ESP32s, I think it is. They're called version 3. And all this stuff was originally intended to run Mesh-tastic, but it turns out that the same hardware can be loaded with mesh core, and it works. In other words, it works on the same hardware. So I have two identical ones, and one of them is superior to the other one, hands down. Now, will they work okay for Paul and I? Just fine. They actually transmit. You can adjust the power output. Mine came adjusted to 22 dBm, which is like 100, a little over 150 milliwatts, and I dropped it to 20 dBm, which takes it down to 100 milliwatts. And I have 1100 milliampere lithium batteries for each one of them in a little case, and the battery will run at not quite 24 hours. So you know, but anyway, the performance of the one is spectacular. The other one is, I don't know whether it's average or I don't have enough experience to know. But anyway, it's been real interesting. And Ron mentioning that Wade had a private channel set up. Yeah, if you set up a private channel, you have to have a key. Everybody has to have the same key and be on the same channel with the same key. And then it's an encrypted end to end. So, nobody can listen. If they do, they couldn't understand. So I'll get a hold of Wade and I'll get the details on that and I'll add it to uh, my one unit here, the good one, the really good one, and see if I can't have something on ready. I've had as many as 11 hops. I think the maximum they'll allow is 20, but I've had repeaters come in from 11 hops away. Maybe I had a 13 once. I can't remember. But anyway, it's quite interesting the way it works. And I got when I sent a text away, I had a response in probably 10 seconds, something like that. He picked right up on it. So anyway, kind of cool. Anyway, okay, well that's it for me, and we're getting close to the top of the hour. So good to see you guys, James, um, and Jim out there in Covington. Good show. And with that, we will see you down the pike. This is N7KC, Leah Port Angeles, and I'll be disconnecting it now. Back to you, Dave.
Hey, thanks with that. Let's go to Jim, N7QO in Covington.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. I'm receiving a little interference on 2 meters now. Actually, I'm receiving a lot, and it's interfering with the reception that I'm getting here. It wasn't present at the beginning of the net, but not even halfway through the net it appeared, and it seems like it's been getting a little bit worse as the night has gone on here. So occasionally I have some difficulty hearing things that you fellows are saying. Let's see. Bellevue Jim, thanks for the blast from the past. That's pretty cool there. And Lee, yeah, someone, I think it was Wade, someone explained the difference between mesh core and mesh-tastic, but I'll be darned if I remember what it is. I don't know. That's kind of interesting that we can have our own little communications channel there. But, I don't know, we could probably do the same thing on the internet. I don't know. I'll have to get caught up. Thanks for mentioning about the news. I do remember seeing something strange as I walked through the house a little bit earlier in the day. I'm going to have to sit down and watch some serious television later tonight, or I don't know if tonight's going to work, but tomorrow I think I'll have a chance during the day to get caught up on things on television. Let's see. Last net or so, I was mentioning about my rear view mirror fell off while I'm driving my car down the road. So, yeah, super glue didn't do the trick. I think, Ron, you were the one who suggested that I go to an auto parts store and buy something called mirror glue. Well, that's what I did, and so far it seems to be working just fine. The instructions said you're supposed to use 1 drop of this stuff in order to attach the mirror to the inside of your windshield. I don't know. That, to me, I think particularly as you're adjusting the mirror, that's got to put a lot of stress on that little metal piece inside your windshield, inside the window. But time will tell. And let's see. I need to press on with income tax. Hope I can finish it soon, but something popped up that I think is going to complicate things for me a little bit. So that's probably where I'm going to spend a bunch of my time the next couple of days anyway.
N7QO, thanks with that. And this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Net on the 08 machine, I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. So we'll be terminating the net at 9:01. Thanks for everybody participating on the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. So good evening from now. Again, this is Dave, KD7ZYM.
KB7D, good. KI7GVM, KB7